guys, welcome to Small Talk. So, I'm very excited about today's show. So, something I enjoy doing, but I don't often have the time to do, or sometimes the energy, is kayaking. Now, I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but kayaking is a very lovable sport for me. It's something that's not very hard to do, and you don't need a lot of equipment. All you need is a boat, a paddle, a life jacket, usually, and a nice sunny day, which happens a lot down here. So I was trying to look for a picture too. But we have a family friend. His name is David. We have known him, God, I think I've known him since I was 15 and I'm 23, so that's a good portion of my life. I met him through scouting when I was 15, and we've stayed in contact ever since. And I've like twice now I've gone kayaking with him. He's part of South Florida Paddlers, which, if you don't know, is one of the more famous paddling groups down here in South Florida. So let's bring him on.
Hello, hi Val. Good to see you. Thank you for having me on this show. I'll be glad to talk to you about
anything. Guest.
That's the way life goes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, really, especially in these times right now.
Oh, I know. So, especially with these times, it's becoming more popular for people to go kayaking, right?
Yes, actually, the trend right now is everybody wants to get outdoors because they're really pent up with this COVID shutdown. And right now, with parks and beaches open, kayaking is on fire right now.
Right.
All of you talk to any of the rental agencies out there, all the paddling places, they are fully booked. As soon as they open up, they are swamped with customers. And also, I've heard anecdotal evidence that most of the retailers, when you go to buy a recreational kayak, they are all out of stock. Dick's Sporting Goods or wherever you might buy the kayaks, they are sold out. The people are just buying up stuff like crazy right now. So it's very popular right now. This is like the... What were you going to say?
Now, how did you get involved with kayaking? Like, I know some of it probably started in scouting, but tell us a little bit how you went from one to the other.
Well, you're correct, Val. It started with scouting. And as you know, scouts do a lot of things in the outdoors. They like to promote...
Ooh, did we lose him? No? Okay. So we're having a little difficulty with our connection. You're back? Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm back. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you miss anything?
Yeah, okay. You froze for a minute.
I just started to say in scouting we do a lot of outdoor things, including paddling, and they use canoes a lot in scouting. Not so much kayaking. Kayaking is kind of like off on the side, something you can do, but we do a lot of canoeing. Mm-hmm. So when I was involved in scouts, of course, I canoed a lot, many trips, many miles in a canoe. And that's my introduction to paddling in the water. Now, kayaking started later on when there's a scout activity, which you know about. It takes place every year up in Gulfstream Council. It's called the River Raft Regatta. It takes place at the end of April, where troops and packs and crews are encouraged to build their own raft and race these.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've been on it yourself, so you know. Yes. So, and they race these rafts as fast as they can and back. And how it relates to kayaking is that they also allow one unit leader to be in a kayak or canoe and follow that raft. And of course, you know that I'm also a good photographer and I like to take pictures of everything. And so I bought my first recreational kayak way back in 2010 for the sole purpose of following that raft and taking pictures. And that was my first introduction to kayaking. When I got into that kayak, remember I just told you I had done so much canoeing, I found out that kayaking was so much better, maneuverable, fast, and that's when I really fell in love with kayaking. And from there, every year I kayaked with that River Raft Regatta. I happened to have water behind my house, so I started puttering around my backyard. And I just fell in love with kayaking. It's like a perfect way to move yourself across water. It's fast, and unlike a canoe, it's easy to steer. Those of you who sat in that canoe know how frustrating it is. Sometimes you just don't know how to point that boat. It goes left, it goes right, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And in a kayak, it's more intuitive. As you get in, it's not so hard to figure out how to turn the boat left and right because you have a paddle on each side, and it's just much easier to learn. And also, the kayak is much faster than a canoe too. For the same amount of effort, you definitely can cover more water than just sitting in the back of a canoe.
Yeah,
Right.
I personally hate canoeing because first of all, you need two people in it in order to do it, and like kayaking, you could just do solely. And it's just like I feel like a kayak is just easier to control, and a canoe is just it's a pain in the butt, really.
Yes, yes. That's why when you go to the Keys or go any place to go paddling, they'll put you in the kayak. They won't put you in the canoe. I mean, they can, but they prefer to put you in the kayak because it's just much easier for you to figure out.
Right.
So, and the most popular things right now are the sit-on tops. If you go to any of these outdoor centers, there's one at Lewis State Park. There's one over at George English. There's one up by Jupiter. They're all over the place, but they'll put you on a sit on top. They'll put you on a very stable, very easy, unsinkable sit on top, and put a paddle in your hand. And even if you never sat in a kayak and never held a paddle in your hand, you're going to be pretty much okay because you'll be able to paddle and figure out pretty quick how to go straight, how to go left, and how to go right. And that's why recreational kayaking is very popular. And also, those sit-on tops are almost impossible to sink. If you fall out, you'll have to figure out how to get back in. But the boat itself is not going to sink to the bottom because it's a solid chunk of air-inflated plastic. So it's a perfect outdoor activity. Even if you've never done it before, just go and rent a kayak and sit down and make sure you're covered though. We'll talk about protecting yourself from getting sunburned and go out and enjoy yourself.
Right.
It's a great thing to do. And for me, one of the aspects of kayaking that I enjoy the most is it gives me a lot of mental relaxation. I just feel it's like mental therapy. You go out there, you can forget about your worries. You're one with the water and the sun and the waves, and it's just a wonderful feeling to be out there. And
right. It's like a whole nother
very,
world.
very enjoyable. Yes, even for beginners, just to go out there. Some of them have never ever explored the water from a kayak, and they're seeing salt water and seeing mangroves and seeing beaches for the first time from a paddlecraft. And often people get hooked, and they kind of go down the same road that I did. They started on kayaking, maybe they just rented, and that's how I got into sea kayaking. I want to go farther. I didn't just want to putter around the lakes and the streams. I wanted to actually go explore the oceans. And if you want to do that, now you can no longer use just a recreational kayak. Now you have to get specialized equipment that's going to keep you safe, equipment that's going to get you there, and that's where sea kayaking comes in. And that's where I went. In 2017, I took a dive into sea kayaking because I wanted to go. I looked on the map and I said, no, I want to go out there. And out there is a couple miles offshore. And you're going to do that. No, you don't take your sit on top. You don't take your recreational kayak. You now need a special boat. You need a sea kayak that's designed to do that. And then once you pick up your sea kayak and you fall in love with that, then you suddenly realize this is an activity that you don't just sit in a boat and paddle. Now you have to learn other skills. Now you're in a dangerous situation. I just told you, my goal was to go visit an island 3 miles offshore. Well, if you go visit an island 3 miles offshore, you're not just going to sit in a boat and paddle. Now you have to worry about not drowning and not disappearing. So there's a whole new set of skills you need to learn if you go sea kayaking. And all the skills are safety related, just to make sure you don't die out there.
Right. Like you want me to come sea kayaking? I don't want to. I don't have that experience yet. But it's like a whole nother level. Like I've gone just up the Loxahatchee River with you, and when we come back from commercial break, I'm going to share a video I have from one of my experiences kayaking with you. It's just it's a whole nother world.
Yeah. You're right, Val. There's in the world kayaking, there's very there's a lot of different levels from just floating down Loxahatchee to actually paddling 10 miles offshore, and there's everything in between.
Right.
So most people are just like you and like myself, just paddling down the Loxahatchee is a wonderful experience. Or going down many of the crystal clear springs up in Central Florida. That's what most people do. They go and just enjoy these inland wonderful waterways. But then there's people like me who decide I'm going to go offshore now. I'm going to go paddle 10 miles. Not everybody follows the path I did, but if you do, then it's a whole different world. Sea kayaking is
Right.
different than recreational kayaking.
All right.
And
Well,
then,
we'll be.
then
I don't mean to cut you off, but we'll be right back.
okay, okay.
Here at Small Talk, we look for any challenge possible, whether you have pictures that you need a slideshow with some cool music, or you're good with camera work, but you want to create the film of your dreams. I can help. No amount of footage is too big or small. Tell me what you want, and I will make it happen. Call today at 866-224-5422 or email me at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com. Remember, any idea you come up with is never too small. Call today to get your dream project started at 866-224-5422 or at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com. Here at Small Talk, we look for any challenge possible, whether you have pictures that you need a slideshow with some cool music, or you're good with camera work, but you want to create the film of your dreams. I can help. No amount of footage is too big or small. Tell me what you want, and I will make it happen. Call today at 866-224-5422 or email me at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com. Remember, any idea you come up with is never too small. Call today to get your dream project started at 866-224-5422 or at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com. You're watching Small Talk, the show where we express ourselves with small randomness. We fill every show with something different. If you have something that's different or random that you would like to discuss, call us at 866-224-5422. Let's get back to the show. All right, and we're back. So before commercial break, we had David. We were talking about the difference between recreational and sea kayaks, and how he went from recreational because he got bored and wanted to experience more things. He wanted to see more things. So that's how he got started with sea kayaking. Right?
Exactly. Yes. So I would just encourage your listeners to consider kayaking. I mean, do what most people do: is just go out and rent a kayak, paddle around, and see if you like it. More likely than not, you're going to fall in love with kayaking. Especially if the weather's good and the conditions are great. It's just a beautiful experience, something to fall in love with. And if you want to pursue it further, you can do that too. And that's where I would encourage you joining a kayak group where people can teach you and tell you the things you need to improve on in order to go farther in your kayak. So it's a great outdoor recreation activity that anyone can get involved in, from beginner level to where I am right now, where I want to go as far as I can. But there's all different levels in between. And I'm sure it's a sport that most people will enjoy very much. And more likely than not, they'll continue to do it and want to do more and more with it. So that's where I come from. I started, like you said, in scouting with just a small little recreational boat. My entire purpose was just to follow my troop down the river, and I fell in love. And I found that this activity is something that is very relaxing, something that's very attractive, and I wanted to do more and more, and I wanted to go explore areas where I needed a sea kayak, and I got my sea kayak, and I found out, wow, this is really great. And this little boat, I can go out and I can actually paddle out to an island 3 miles out and come back, and people are like amazed that you did this, but then it's really not that amazing. As long as you know how to do it, and you have the right equipment and the right training, it's awesome.
Right.
So
You have the picture
So-
queued up or the video? What do you have? Okay.
the video of the lock.
You could
Oh,
cue
the
the
lock.
picture.
Is this the lock?
Just
Oh.
like this is. I think we
Olita
might-
River.
Huh?
Olita River.
Yeah,
This
so
is
this
Olita
was at
River.
Oliva River, and I think this was for my birthday. This was,
Yes.
we took Zach out, who, for those of you that know, he's boyfriend / fiance of mine.
Yes.
And so we took him out for the first time. This is probably maybe my second or third time in a boat, and he did not like it. He told me at the end that he did. And like, I keep trying to get him to go kayaking now, and he's like, no. Turns out he doesn't like it. So we're going to try paddleboarding, which you had mentioned that paddleboarding
Right,
is
right.
becoming popular too, because it's essentially the same thing. It's just you're standing instead of sitting.
Well, not essentially the same thing. Paddleboarding is very popular right now. It's on par with kayaking. In fact, in terms of growth of paddle sports, paddleboards are probably surpassing kayaking by far for many, many years. I will, true disclosure, I myself have never been on a stand-up paddleboard, but I have lots of friends who do own them. I have lots of friends who are ardent paddleboarders, and it's something I will plan on doing. They've got my curiosity, and again, I'm being very honest. For the longest time, I looked at people on paddleboards, and I actually thought that doesn't look like very much fun. You're just standing the whole time.
Well, yeah,
I don't
because I feel like you
understand,
would get
but-
more tired. You would get tired a lot faster than you do kayaking. And I think one of the last times I went kayaking with you was Loxahatchee River. We got rained on, so like
Yeah.
that was pretty hard. You know, I'm sure it wasn't hard for you, but for me it was a bit. I was like dead
Well,
after that.
Yeah, but
But
I'm gonna
it was all
reserve
fun.
judgment on paddleboarding. Yeah, I'm gonna reserve my judgment on paddleboarding because again, just like kayaking, you really don't know until you actually try it. So
Right.
until I actually get one and stand up and paddle it and confirm whether or not my preconceived notions are correct or not, I don't know. But I just know about it. It's very popular right now. You go out the Virginia Key where I go all the time, you'll see more paddleboarders and kayakers. And if you go to the rental places I just told you, you can rent kayaks. They also rent stand-up paddleboards, and they are almost more popular than kayak rentals right now.
Oh really?
And I'll also tell you, I've been out there and watched people go paddleboarding for the first time. And just as a side note, it takes some skill to stand up and stay up on a paddleboard. And you'll see people falling over, and eventually people just end up sitting on their kayak, sitting on the paddleboard and paddling like a canoe. But there must be something to it, and I'm definitely going to try it. I have my own friends. I have friends within my kayaking group that are now purchasing paddleboards, and they're paddleboarding now. So I'm going to do the same thing and see what it's all about. It's also something I would encourage your listeners to go try a paddleboard too. The same
Yeah.
places that rent kayaks will rent you a paddleboard. But again, I can't tell you anything about it from personal experience because I've never tried one. But I know people who love them too.
So I know that I was really intrigued in paddleboarding before I got into kayaking. Paddleboarding was always very like intriguing because I was just amazed that you could just use one paddle and you could go somewhere. It's kind of like kayaking
Yeah.
for me too. It's like once you
Yes.
get that momentum going, you're good.
Actually, paddleboarders, believe it or not, Val, can keep up with kayaks. Some of these very good paddleboarders.
Oh really?
There's a fellow I know by name Scott Baste. He is a super athlete, but he can actually paddle his paddleboard faster than I can kayak. He can
That's
go
crazy.
4 or 5, 6 miles an hour, which the average speed of a sea kayak is around 3 to 4 miles an hour. But he can paddle so fast, and so I just want to dispel the notion that paddleboards are slower than kayaks. If you're really good and you have the right paddleboards also come in different kinds too, from recreational to racing paddleboards. But they can go quite fast. And from, again, not from my own personal experience, but people who have been on paddleboards, they tell me they enjoy it because they can see so much more. Remember, you're standing and
Right.
you're not looking down the water from 4 4, 5, 6 feet above the water, and you can just see so much more. You can see the wildlife, you can see the fish swimming underneath the water, and not that you can't from a kayak, but you can see it much better from a
Right.
paddleboard. And it just must be a different experience. Again, I wish I could speak from being a paddleboard, but I'm not. So, but I know they love it, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. And you should
Okay.
try it too, Val.
Yeah, I will. So I just want to talk about your experience. You're part of South Florida Paddlers, right? That group.
Yeah.
How did you
Yes.
come about joining that group? What's your role in South Florida Paddlers?
Oh, that South Florida Paddlers is one of many groups. And once you get into kayaking, you'll find out there are all groups all around geographically around Florida. There's one in Central Florida, there's one over in Naples, but South Florida Paddlers concentrates on our area: Palm Beach, Broward, Monroe counties, Miami-Dade. It's actually a Facebook group that's linked up to a meetup group. A meetup is another way that people get together and go out on group paddles. The genesis of South Florida Paddlers is actually from a meetup group called Miami Kayak Club. And I was a member of Miami Kayak Club, and I'm also very big on, and I know that Facebook groups are also very useful too. So I linked up the Miami Kayak Club to this group that I created called South Florida Paddlers. And the entire purpose of this group is to encourage people to get out on the water. People who want to learn more about kayaking can learn more about kayaking. Everyone in this group is very helpful, from picking out a boat to going on activities. But the main goal of South Florida Paddlers is to put people together on group paddles. We will schedule all these events in different areas around our area. Unfortunately now, because of the COVID pandemic, none of these things are being scheduled right now, but as soon as this virus is wiped out, we'll be very active on the water again. But it's a group that you can join, and you can learn anything you want to learn about kayaking, from where to paddle, where to rent, what kind of equipment you should have, what kind of training you need,
That's awesome.
everything. And it's a very, very helpful group. You'll find that kayakers are very, very nice people, and they're
Yes.
always willing to help. I haven't found... They're just really great people. They're
I
connected to
had
the
the
outdoor.
opportunity to join you guys on a kayaking trip once on Loxahatchee River, and I met a lot of them,
That's
and
right.
they were all very nice, friendly,
Yes.
and I'm a very inexperienced kayaker, and
Yeah,
a lot of them
yeah.
stayed with me because obviously I can't keep up with half of you. So it was a nice experience.
Yes, very nice people. Yes. So it's a Facebook group. If you're interested in learning more about kayaking, just add yourself to the group. Ask any questions. The questions that you're asking, the topics that we're discussing right now, they're always discussed on that group all the time. From how do I get started, what kind of equipment should I get, and where can I buy the equipment? In fact, since we're on that topic, if you're going to buy equipment, buy used. There's actually not only a shortage of new boats because everyone's flooding out to buy them all up, but there's also a lot of boats on the used market too. So if you want to buy equipment, say a paddleboard, a kayak, or paddles, there's just a lot of stuff out there that you can buy used. And then we in the group can help you because we're kind of experts at picking up the used equipment and getting out to people. So it's just a great place. And then we post pictures all the time. Remember, my angle is I love to take pictures.
Yes.
Guess where all my pictures get posted? They all get posted on that page. And if you go there, I'm not the only person that loves photography. Another common connection I've seen is a lot of these paddlers, just like me, love to take pictures because nature is beautiful. You go out the
yes.
ocean, go out the beach, it's just gorgeous out there. So they love to take pictures, and guess where they put those pictures? In that group too. So if you go there, you'll see these wonderful pictures of the paddles that people are doing right now. Again, we're not doing too many group paddles, but people are going out in little small groups or by themselves, and they'll post their pictures and videos, and it'll give you a good taste of what kayaking is like. People put GoPro videos out there where you almost feel like you're sitting in the kayak with a person, and then people will post videos from elsewhere all around the world, and you'll see some of the crazy stuff these kayakers do. Some people don't realize how far these small little boats can go. All I've been talking about is paddling 3 miles out to an island and back. Sea kayaking is way beyond that. There are these people who go out. They'll go 25, 30 miles in one day. They'll go out to these monstrous seas where the tide causes these huge waves, and you look at them, you just say they're crazy. I mean, they're out there surfing these giant waves. Oh, I haven't even touched upon the topic of whitewater kayaking.
Oh, geez.
That's another group of people,
That
and we
is-
have those in our group.
So I've gone
That is-
whitewater canoeing, and I'm sure that they're very similar.
No, whitewater canoeing. You wouldn't take a whitewater canoe anywhere beyond Class 2 rapids, and the rapids are classified from 1 through 5. I think there might be a 6, but canoes are limited. You can do whitewater rafting with a canoe, but only 1 and 2. That's the limit. Otherwise, you're just going to capsize. And they do have whitewater canoes. They can go beyond that, but I don't. That's a very, very small subspecialty. But whitewater kayakers, those are the videos you see. These little guys in these little tiny, brightly colored boats going over waterfalls and going down chutes. But that's another thing that you might want to get into. I know people in our group just like me who started out with a recreational kayak and they went to sea kayak. There's a guy, and now he's getting into whitewater kayaking. And there's a lot of other people. The problem with whitewater in Florida is there isn't much whitewater here in Florida. You have to go up to Georgia.
When we went to New River, when we went to Powhatan in
Yes.
2014, it was when I got to go whitewater rafting and canoeing. And
Rafting,
you
yes.
didn't go on that because
Maybe not with you, but I've gone with other groups. That is the New River is a river that can get up to Class 5. And when we went down, we were probably going through Class 4. And if you remember, there's a guy in a kayak that was bobbing along with us.
Yes, no, I do remember that.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. Those to me, in my opinion, they're like way out on the fringe because I would never ever try something like that. That's like something that's really.
I think it's partly because they were in these little tiny boats, and I remember, Teddy, can you pull up the video now? So, like, when you stuck me in a sea kayak, I was like, I'm so tiny, this is so big. But, it was definitely, so this is probably, like, this is my first time in a sea kayak, and I thought you were crazy for sticking me in this boat. But this was, I think, in Oleta River.
Yes, Oleta River again. Yes, same place, Oleta River.
I thought you were crazy for sticking me in that boat, but it was a lot of fun.
I don't know what your impressions were, but it should have been that you can go faster than in a little plastic boat. Did you feel that you're paddling faster, or maybe not?
Yeah, no, I did feel like I was like, wow, this is super easy. It was a lot easier to handle than a recreational because I don't know if it was longer, thinner, or what, but it was a lot easier. I found it easier to kayak in the sea kayak versus a recreational.
The only purpose of a sea kayak is keep you safe in the open ocean.
Right.
And what you encounter in the open ocean are waves, lots of waves. And it's meant to keep you from capsizing as easy as you would be in a recreational kayak. Because the waves can be anywhere from 1 to 5 feet long, the sea kayak has to be very long, typically about 2.5 times the height of a person. So most sea kayaks are at least 16 feet long.
So that's why it was so much longer. That's why sea kayaks are so much longer than recreational, because they gotta be able to withstand the higher waves, right?
Yes, they're stretched out so that they can deal with choppy water, and also so they can go faster. The longer and the more narrow your boat is, the faster you can go with the same amount of effort. Also, with a sea kayak, you're out in an environment where you can easily capsize. I mean, most don't, but if you happen to capsize, a sea kayak is easier to roll. I mean, the first thing you do when you capsize is knock it out of your boat. Hopefully, you can just flip yourself back over. And that's one of the skills that most sea kayakers will pick up because they don't want to capsize. They have to get out and then climb back in. They learn to roll. And a sea kayak is much easier to roll than a recreational kayak, which is almost impossible to roll, although I've seen people do it. The other thing is, just to mention it before, it's long so that you can deal with these waves. The longer the boat is, the easier it is to deal with these troughs, waves, crests, and waves, and not capsize.
Well, that's great.
The sea kayak you're in was actually too big for you. They make sea kayaks in different sizes. You were a sea kayak that's way too big for you. That's why you felt like you were lost inside it. But you would do better with a smaller sea kayak. By
Yeah.
small, I don't mean less long. I just mean more narrow and more compact. You were
So
in a
I
giant
guess the
sea
next
kayak.
time I will be going kayaking with you, I will be joining you in the ocean, and we will try it.
Yes, you should do that. And I
should.
encourage everybody to go try kayaking. It's a great activity. It's easy to get into. Just go rent a boat, and then if you want to buy a boat, and then get into the sport. It's a great way to get out there and enjoy the great outdoors and do yourself a favor too. Especially with the virus that we have right now, about the only thing you can do is go out to parks and lakes and stuff and get out there and enjoy yourself.
I was telling some of my fellow producers, I was like, it's becoming a real big sport right now because there's nothing else to do, and it's very easy
Exactly.
to social distance while doing this, and you get to
Yes,
enjoy.
that's
You get to be
correct.
outside, you get to fresh air, and
That's correct.
it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well-
although the social distancing rules are still in place for kayakers too. We still have to stay 6 feet apart.
Well, yeah,
We
it's
still can't do
easier
anything.
because the
Yes,
the oars are 6 feet long, and
Yes,
you can't
right.
smack an oar with an oar, so it's very easy to stay away. Because if
Yes,
you smack,
yeah,
if you're hitting
that's right.
oars, then you're not going anywhere.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you so much, David, for joining us.
Thank you for having me as a best.
I appreciate it. If you're looking to get into a new sport, trying to find something new to do in quarantine, look up South Florida Paddlers. Contact David Ching at South Florida Paddlers. And
Yes.
if you have any questions, want to try to get into it, look them up. All of them are super helpful. I can very much vouch for that. It's not just David. Anyone else on that group is
That's right.
they're friendly. They'll help you out. You don't know. Oop. Bye, David. They don't know. You don't know where to get started or anything. Look them up. That's all the time we have for today. Check us out next week. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we'll find out. Think big, stay small, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next time for a new word of the week, along with a new and exciting randomness. Till then, stay small.